You need some chapstick there, dude? Seriously, what was that? We opened this week with Shoma watching over a still kind of injured Hanto. Yeah, truth be told, he didn't need all of the bandages anymore, as his wounds were already healing up completely. I think this is meant to hint that he was developing a rapid healing factor from his granute organ. Otherwise, at the very least, I think he should have at least a few scabs from all of that blood loss. That said, Shoma didn't seem to really notice, as he was just glad that his friend was getting better. Plus, he was a little more focused on getting another quote-unquote friend. He'll probably just think that you're cheating on him. Said new friend prospect had seemingly given up on the human harvesting thing like he wanted. However, that was irrelevant to Naivo, who conveniently gave him a new toy to play with. Meanwhile, Sachika had decided to restart the search for that one victim of the week, or pretty much month by this point. But yeah, this plus his Gochizo discovering Lage's hideout gave Shoma an idea. Shoma, do you want to share some of your interests with the class? Actually, he wanted to show the easily bored Granute something that would elicit a few more emotions out of him. He showed him Sachika and the victim's parents desperately searching for their son, which initially didn't get much of a reaction out of him, but we did get an interesting little detail, as he didn't seem to even know what a human was before arriving on Earth, much less the fact that they happened to be physically and mentally close to Granutes. Which is actually a really good point that I didn't really think about. I mean, for him, initially at least, it was probably like hunting cattle, which, hey, we're certainly guilty of. Now, of course, that's nowhere near as bad as what he did, and really, he should have been smart enough to realize that humans were intelligent beings like his own species, but it did at least give a little more context to his actions, if not a little justification, though not a lot. Regardless, as he started to remember his own struggles to find Komel, it really started to dawn on him the sins that he had committed. Again, while I don't think this character necessarily deserves full forgiveness, I also can't deny Kohei Shoji's great emotional acting here as Lage when he realized that he had sunk to the level of the very guys who took his brother away from him. I might have made fun of his weird little lip sound, but his quivering lips here were just brilliant. Really, between this and that one episode of Kira Major where he just went crazy, dude deserves a lot of props. You're crazy. With that, he revealed to Shoma that his real name was Lakia, and the two set off to try and rescue as many people presents directly from the stomach factory as possible. Though, there was just one little problem. Okay, is there just something in that alley that's making him sound weird? Fortunately, he did know the general patterns of the agents, and they managed to follow one of them, entering a portal in the bathroom. Quick, jump in the toilet! That's probably where the portal is! Ew. But as it turned out, the potty door was seemingly DNA activated by members of the Stoma family or their familiars, which of course Shoma just so happened to be, but kept it to himself. Gee, I hope that doesn't come back to bite Shoma in the ass a little later in this very episode. Anyway, after trying a few dimensional doors that they borrowed from the Dome brothers, they managed to make their way into the Stomach residence. Shoma managed to get them through some security like a password door that they really should change more often for these very reasons. But yeah, he tried to dodge Lakia, noticing how he knew about this place by saying that his memories about it were hazy, which weren't entirely false. Whoa, that's a new wrinkle I've never seen before. I should probably go iron this. But yeah, this is an interesting new little detail. I mean, I don't think either Clark or Bruce could say that they knew both of the martyrs of their story, and also this does bring into question about whether this was before or after the Wolf Granute attacked her. There's a lot they could do with this, so I'm looking forward to what comes of it. Meanwhile, Hanto finally woke up to discover that he was in Suga's lab. Of course he assumed that the mad scientist might have done something to his fellow rider. Now you see, you say, this is why you shouldn't have bought that beginner science kit for Crow. Anyway, after dealing with one very unfortunate agent, the factory was alerted to the intruders. Fortunately, they managed to find the human presses, including the missing boy, and were going to save them, but... I think replacing that machine is going to cost a little more than what you spent on those people. In a really good moment for Lakia, he gave the company his letter of resignation, but as a severance, he did want to also know why they offed his brother, to which Glota said it was just another Tuesday for them. They also might have hinted that she actually did know about Komel, which would give credence to Shoma's kind of out of nowhere theory that he rebelled against the company. Like, maybe that was more of Shoma's fuzzy memories, because otherwise that would be kind of sloppy foreshadowing. Anyway, Lakia henshied and gave Shoma enough time to collect the human presses. The two managed to escape to a random concert for one of their music contributors. Anyone else thinking that this collab with Kiss is getting kind of weird? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Gene Simmons is into tentacle hentai. But yeah, Glota decided to get serial, and she really lived up to the hype around her. As after she managed to curb stomp Hanto with her human disguise still on, she was able to just wail on the two stronger riders at full power. Thus Shoma broke out its caking form to both get the human presses away to safety, at least for the remainder of this episode, and to give Lakia enough time to try out his new treat, which was cherry flavored. And probably the most accurate depiction of obsessive treats consumption in this show. His jelly custom form restrained his heart by actually squeezing it, which, yeah, was just as gross as it sounds. In exchange, it did give him the pretty awesome ability to go invisible and intangible. I also really liked its design. I mean, that's a very nice shade of pink, and I do prefer the bigger shoulder pads versus the life vest. As a result, his fight with the agents was a lot of fun, as even while he was suffering from some clogged arteries, he could still turn one of them into a surfboard. However, there was the little issue of Glota, who also seemed to have the ability to reflect damage because apparently everyone in the show has to have some sort of OP ability. Thus Shoma decided to just try to hit her with its best rider kick so far, and even though it didn't quite reach her, it did at least take out her weapon. It was all a good way of showing that the riders were getting stronger, whilst also keeping the enemies of the show looking strong, as Glota decided to gloat and let them walk away with their lives because she was just in a good mood now. However, she did end up throwing in a little line that Shoma was her brother within ear's range of both Lakia and Hanto, who had caught his partner cheating on him. With that, the episode ended with the moment that really we were all kind of expecting. Well, except for maybe the actual punch from Hanto's actor that landed. Yeah, that's a little too much method acting there, dude. This was a really good conclusion to this little intro arc for Laika. His realization of all of his wrongdoings was masterfully done, and as a result, even I was cheering for him and Shoma to try and take down Glota. And yet, not only did she still come off really strong, but she also might have dealt the most devastating, unintentional blow to all three riders. One of the most interesting things that I realized through this episode was how truly broken the three main riders of the show were. Obviously, since this was his arc, we were able to really see how Lakia had lost all hope in himself and those around him, to the point that he had become an honorary stomach for how heartless he had become in his pursuits for vengeance. Kind of likewise, Hanto had become consumed by his thirst for vengeance, to the point that he had modded his own body and was denouncing a whole species. Lastly, Shoma not only witnessed his mother's passing, and maybe even Hanto's, he also is emotionally stunted from being cut off from most of humanity until episode 1 of the show. Thus, as much of an innocent and nice guy as he was, he also didn't know how to properly interact with others, including how to talk things out. Put all three of them together, and while some common ground could be found like in this episode, inevitably all of it wasn't just going to fall nicely into place. Now, for the common ground stuff, seeing Shoma win over Lakia was actually quite touching, especially thanks to Lyra's great acting. Their little operation to save the pressed people was also pretty awesome, as we both got to see a new form for Vlam that is a good example of power at a hefty, squeamish cost, and Glota at pretty much full power as the villains continue to feel like a force of nature rather than just another monster of the week. However, the thing everyone is likely going to talk about in regards to this episode is what happened with Shoma and Hanto at the end. And while they certainly could screw things up by making things a little too melodramatic, I do like where they're going with this, as I do feel it is justified. Again, until episode 1 of the show, Shoma most likely spent most of his years with just his mother, so he doesn't know how to interact with actual friends all that well, like how you shouldn't keep important secrets from them or go behind their backs and hope everything just works out. But until then, this is still an overall really good and actually kind of touching closer to Lakia's intro arc. The pudding rider might be on the rise for now, but the chocolate rider, well, he might be turning just a little darker. Thanks for watching, and just in case you're wondering, this isn't cherry flavored, it's actually peach flavored. And if you want more of our honest reviews, maybe check out some of our other stuff on this channel, where we're brutally honest, but come on, we all know that's how you like it. And until next time though, for now my friends, and well, looks like my interdimensional potty is clogged up again. Better go deal with it.